Hello, welcome back. Here I am with the build. I can see the build is practically done here. Being a new tool Tamiya kit, it goes by effortlessly. So kind of started doing it and continue working on it, and you can see it's mostly done. Some pieces are left off. Some of the pieces are just there. Like for example, the gun here, the machine gun, it's just on loose, and so is the turret, and even the main gun here. But overall, all the bits, just everything fits really nicely. So I have no complaints about that, and it was a really easy build. I can say the whole build is probably, you can probably spend the afternoon or a day, here and there, completing the build and getting ready for the paint stage. All my other parts I have here, you can see, got the wheels and other little small pieces and the bogies here, separate here. And over here I got some of the other pieces like the water tanks here and so forth. I left the cupola here off. I'll paint that separately on the inside and then attach it. Same thing with the other hatch here for the cupola here. I'll paint that the interior separately and then attach it. So anyway, as far as buildability, really, relatively quick, easy, simple, no headaches, no drama. Some of these smaller parts can be a little fiddly, I guess, but no big deal. Anyway, so next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash all these parts and so forth, and then put some primer on and start painting. All right, so I'll be back when I start the painting stage. Oh, I did leave out some things like the tools and so forth that you see here on the instructions. I just highlighted these with a highlight marker, just so I don't forget that I need to attach those on later. All right, so I'll be right back. Thank you. Hello and welcome back. Here I am after I did the priming. I used some style res. You see here, some black and white. So all black. Did some spots of white here. Give it some highlights, some tonality. Once I lay down the olive green, which I'm going to be using the Tamiya XF62 olive green, olive drab on it. So I'm just gonna, go light layers and try and see how I can preserve some of this tonality underneath the paint. All right, so I'll be back in a moment. Hello and welcome back. Here I am after I did the painting of the olive drab of the Tamiya color. I can see, I think the camera picks it up. You can still see some of the white shading that I did to give it some highlights, some modeling, some different shades of the color. One thing I forgot to do, I forgot the instructions, is just to paint this, that metallic color, which I totally forgot to do. So what I did after the fact, I just used some bare metal foil, cut a small strip, 3 millimeters wide per the instructions, and just applied it there. So that's how I got around that, so I didn't have to mask and repaint that. So now what I'm going to do is give this a coat of clear, just to protect it a little bit while I handle it, and then paint the little details that I need to paint. Like I already started painting the gun here, paint the lights here before I put them on, paint the tools, all those little details. It won't take too much. One other thing I did, the paint was just a little bit on the rough side. So what I did, I lightly sanded here on the sides where the decals will go. Just using one of the sponge sander here, just very lightly, so it gives a nice smoother finish for where the decals will go. Anyway, so let me do that, let that dry, and then I'll show you the next step. Right, thank you. Hello, welcome back. I did the little painting and I put on the decals, which are not that much, and I put another clear coat over everything. The next step is going to start the weathering. As you see, the hull and top and bottom, I can easily remove them, and thanks to the pins that the way that Tamiya has engineered this kit, so it makes it very easy to continue assembling the bottom portion here, put all the wheels on, do whatever little bit of light weathering on it, put on the tracks, and then I can just put the top and bottom together. Same thing with the turret, so it makes it nice and easy. So next step I'm going to do here is the weathering. So I'm going to start probably with a pin wash, let that dry, seal it, and then do some other effects. I think one more thing I'm going to use is probably enamels and oils for the weathering. So that'll be the next step I'll show you on camera for some of this. Right, thank you. Hello, welcome back. Here I am starting the weathering. What I'm first going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of a black panel line wash on the model here, which I started here, the rear engine deck. As you might be able to see, a little bit more definition there with the black shadows, with the black wash, and compare that here to the front where I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to do that throughout. And basically this is just a little bit of regular black oil paint, a little bit of thinner, a little cup. Take a brush and just go along the where you want it. Like for example here in the front, I'm going to put some, and you can just see. I'm just going to dab it where I want it. And this is just going to be my first. In this case, like with this texture here, I'm just going to paint it on. Other portions, I'm going to dab it, let it flow. And then I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. And I'll got back some cotton buds here, Q-tips, and wipe the excess off and let that dry. So I'm doing that on the top, bottom, and here I also did that already here on the gears. But hard to see here in the glare since this has been coated, the clear already. Just to compare it to the other side. There. And once all that's dry, I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a little bit of a brown wash on it. I'm going to probably use the little bit of these mud effects from AK enamel wash. So I'm going to put that on it, and I'll show you that next. Welcome back. Here I am starting a little bit of the dot filter, the oil that I'm using. So I just using some really inexpensive oil paints. You see here, I got these from Michael's here in New York. I just put a few dabs on a paper towel here to soak up some of the oil, and using a little bit of turpenoid here, odorless turpenoid, and a little cup here, and a brush, a couple of brushes, just putting on the filters. So I did a little bit beforehand, so I just want to show you a little bit of before and after. So this is the before, where I just have a little bit of the oil wash that I did before, and enamel wash. So there's a little subtle effect there. And here on the other side, did this a little earlier, let it dry off. You can see all the streaking, and that is from doing the dot filters and just using the brush to bring it down. You see, give it more of a weathered look of all the, rain streak, dirt, and all the other stuff. So you can see there's quite a bit of a difference between that side and this side. And for those of you who may not be familiar, basically what I'm doing, I'm just taking the color here, just taking a little bit. In this case, I'm using yellow, ochre yellow, and a little bit of black, mixing them up together, and just putting some random dots here on the side of the vehicle. Like so, like you see there. Then I'm taking the broader brush here, just moistening it a little bit with the turpenoid. Again, this is just moist, and I'm kind of wiping off the majority of it, so it's just moist, it's not wet with it. And then I'm just going to come down here and streak it, as so, and work it. And a good benefit I like working with oils and doing this, again, over a clear coated surface, is that if you make a mistake, if you have too much of this, it's easy just to go ahead and do that, wipe it off. Or if not enough, you can always put up more and continue. If you wipe off too much like I did there, you can just come back, get a little bit more paint, dab it on it, as such, and then do it again, and wipe it down. Alright, so that's what I'm doing here on the sides. So you're gonna get those rain streaks here on the sides, and on the flatter surface, what I'm just gonna do, I don't know if you can tell here, I just dab it and wipe it off, and just again going down. These are the sloped areas, going down the direction of gravity. I also did a little bit of that here in the front, where the star is. I don't know, you can pick it up here in the light. You can see the streaks there as well. Alright, so that's the next step I'm doing, and I'll be back in a few. Alright, thank you. Alright, welcome back. So I did my little dot filter, oil filter there. So I just want to show you a little bit of the results of the streaking here and some of the weathering. So I can see that dark olive drab now is a little bit even more faded out and weathered. So you got all those nice little streaks there. And just to show you the other side of the vehicle, again, you got all those streaks, weathering, modeling all over. So what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to let this dry for a little bit more, and I'm going to give it a clear coat and then move on to the next stage of weathering. So be back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. All right, so I did the oils and I put a little clear coat on it, so it's a little glossy right now, as you can see. Hopefully through the glare you can see some of the streaking there and some of the tonality differences there in the green. So next step, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give it a clay wash. Specifically, I'm going to use some of these Flory dark dirt and a combination dark dirt and grime. And the way I'm going to apply these, instead of brushing it on, I'm actually going to airbrush it on. So I'm just going to pour some of my color cup here and airbrush it on the model and let it dry out. Why airbrushing it as opposed to brushing it? I just want to give a nice good overall grime and dirt over it. I think I can do that better if I just airbrush it on. Right, so I'll be back in a moment. Hello and welcome back. Here I am with the finished kit. After doing the wash, actually instead of just doing these two colors, I also added a little bit of desand to give it a little bit of a lighter color. And here you go. So put everything together. I painted the commander here. Put on the copula, put on the 50 cal, put on the two little jerry cans that comes with the kit, and there you go. Overall, I mean, this is a beautiful kit, nice, easy, quick, simple, well, relatively simple put together to assemble. Recommend it for just about anybody. Even if you're a beginner, you've never done a tank before. I mean, Tamiya's instructions and the fit and finish of the plastic is bar none, so it just makes it extremely easy in that respect. The only thing I would say about the kit is that, you know, probably as far as what comes in the box is a little sparse. I mean, when it comes to these two jerry cans, doesn't come with any tow cable or things like that. So what I would recommend is just getting some maybe aftermarket, you know, baggage or, you know, crates or ammo boxes or whatever to put on it and dress it up a little bit. Otherwise, it's a little plain. As it is, but otherwise it's a wonderful kit. Just to give you a little closer look here, the commander there, as you can see, I put on these little goggles, the straps for the goggles. I don't know what comes out in the camera, it's just painted on a little brown stripe there to represent the goggle straps there. The goggles are just glued in, held in place by a little bit of pledge clear. That's the only glue that I'm using it to hold that in place. So that's just easy. Machine gun there, glued in place. Otherwise you can tilt it. Everything else is a little bit posable. Just take a look at it on the sides. Give you a better look here. Hopefully you can see some of the fading, streaking, the multi-layered steps that I took, you know, with the white and black undercoat, and then doing the olive drab, and then doing the oil wash, the oil streaks, and then doing the clay washes. You can see there on top. You can see there in the front and the tracks. Did a little bit of light dry brushing over the tracks, over the metal parts. Will probably be worn down to the metal as it goes through the city streets. This is a late war April, so it'll probably be in one of the major cobblestone streets there in Germany. You can see more of the finish there. You can see the back there with the two jerry cans. And again, it just really needs some more storage, something to dress it up. But otherwise, this is a fantastic kit, and I would recommend it for anybody. Alright, thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the build, and I hope you guys, you know, they're building your own. I know some of you have commented, you guys are working on this kit, and you know, look forward to seeing you guys if you are. And for those already completed, you know, enjoy seeing them. If you haven't done it already, it'd be nice if you can post them, share with the community. And thank you all for your comments, as always. All right, thanks guys. Take care. Bye bye.